Is it THAT Sirius? Are we searching for answers or remembering them, expanding for growth or to escape it? From blue people, moons and second opportunities, as we move towards the rare full lunation of May in Sagittarius, we are being invited to look honestly at the stories, distractions, ambitions, and identities shaping our reality. Not simply through spiritual concepts or intellectual seeking, but embodiment, presence, and the willing to meet ourselves where we actually are. Allowing any tension between information and wisdom, curiosity and truth, movement and meaning, to reveal what genuinely nourishes our soul from what merely keeps us stimulated, looping or searching externally for that which can only truly be integrated from within. There is a lot I intend to get done today, but with the sun shining and the world in full bloom, I don't want to spend all day doing it. Meaning I need to streamline, to channel in and make some felt sense of the many insights around the upcoming full moon. Simply, I say this with no disrespect to the information available, by concentrating on what is relevant. The reality is, there are enough mental looping, rabbit-holing distractions to our own divinity available to ensure we never reach it. So I guess the main emphasis over the next few weeks, years, and generations is, and always has been, to keep coming back to the present moment and our bodies. Honouring that which makes us human has never been so vital, as it continues to become more important in the not-so-distant, far, far away future. Because underneath it all, there is a shift in our own cellular remembrance that is so multifaceted, trying to make logical sense of it will not suffice, no matter how many intuitive directions we receive. We would be better guided to consider the following. Are we really alone? Is the dream in our hearts the love of our own or those before and to come? What are we here for? Who or even when do we need to focus our attention on? How open can we be to any apparitions, be that of this world, dimension, or our own potential? And whether what we adore, honour, or for some have become obsessed and infatuated by, really helps us to turn any blue moods into gold. This is transformation on another level, through the recognition not only of who we are and where we have come from, but what we intend to do about allowing, or in most cases no longer being part of any restrictions, to this wisdom being seen. The emphasis here is to stick to the facts and call something for what it is. Whilst awareness can be a trippy, expansive ride, if we do not come back to its relevance, it, through our own understanding, will continue to be merely the basis of inspiration. A great spark, maybe even an initiator or fire starter for the soul, but without embodiment, something that could lack any sustaining illumination. Take, for example, this blog. The guidance has been monumental. A rites of passage, where I have seen opportunities that, whilst predicted all around me, have gone to others to be created, due to my own cynicism. Singing with the Standing Stone people at Avebury, feeling the galactic response both on the day and in my dream times, I have continued to question their guidance around light language, dimensions and healing. And on a more grounded level, my garden now portraying the most incredible beauty as a result of hard work has triggered the belief I will be moving soon. Each due to my own misalignment, to what I've been searching for all along. Connection, belonging, and as a result, sacred reciprocity. Of course, there are many reasons behind this. Working through them is an ongoing process. The invitation, however, is not to become lost in them, to see any shadow rising and lovingly give it the home it never had, from within. Because like the song for the upcoming blue moon, the intuitive lyrics themselves of the times to come will be re-recorded by many through spaces beyond us. What matters more is the integration of any separation we are willing to receive, and in doing so, create for all our relations. Something we will each be encouraged to feel into as we collectively experience the second full lunation of May. A rare occurrence in the sign of Sagittarius, with the Sun currently in Gemini, the direction we are headed towards has never been more obvious, because the reality is many have walked this path before, making any repetition a greater opportunity, no, necessity, to look at what lies beneath them. If we wish to move through the infinite cycles and black holes of consumption we find ourselves in, be that financially, spiritually, emotionally, or intellectually, with Saturn trining this placement, there must be an element of discipline to any truth-seeking now, and structure to the reasons behind it. Are we chasing for the sake of it? Because it is familiar, not the idea itself, but the initiation and thrill of creation? Or are we looking for more long-term growth and in this evolution of what it really means to be human? Conjunct Uranus in letting go of the concept of being prepared, especially around factors we can and will never be able to control. Change, revolution, and sudden insights are possible through expansion, which will occur inevitably, with or without our interaction, with genuine heart coherence. The ability to think from a place of love for the authentic language it has always been, universal even, if we hope to make any sense of the information coming in. Provided we can balance discernment and intuition, the next few weeks are set to bring forward areas which require our attention, that if we're being honest, began to make themselves known with the deep emotional and psychological stirrings of the previous full moon in Scorpio at the beginning of the month, holding us between a distinct beginning, middle, and end that when triggered by lack has and will continue to offer an opportunity to listen into the personal growth we are yearning for. Again, emphasis being on personal. If we wish to ascend the lower mind, we must first recognize its existence of outdated identities now restricting us. Acknowledging any higher perspectives will only come by increasing our horizon from within the here and now. Can we listen to the narratives playing themselves out, particularly around ongoing, at times repetitive conversations, and allow a sense of renewal in our own authentic aspirations for them? What would happen if each day, no matter how mundane, became an adventure? How would this change our attitude towards the communication we had with ourselves within it? In a world so set on getting things right, from healing and manifestation through to relationships and intuition itself, we can often forget it's okay to wobble. Essential even. To strengthen the soul core, the deciding fact doesn't come from the stance we take, but awareness of it before choosing. As with Saturn and Pluto harmonizing the moon, we can expect results to be determined by the effort put in. A direction innately known by many, now ready to face with dedication. This is less about external pressures, regardless of the preterite, and more, with the support of Juno, prospect to refine the individual finesse and style we bring to any interactions. Carrying intensified energy, with emotional breakthroughs and potentially life-changing decisions, there is the notion of a second chance for many areas that may have until now felt stuck or uncertain, none more so than the faith we have in ourselves to achieve them. But of course, that does insinuate we must recognize our own worth, intimately holding space for where we may not, and becoming the turning point of any creations by respecting how we may have been conceiving them. The irony is we've always been collectively shifting the narrative. It is actually our own endurances and their necessities that will come under focus for the remainder of the year, through more aligned actions, closure, and transformations. Falling in the first decan, quincunx Mars, and linked to the Eight of Wands in the Tarot, we can expect swift, purposeful movement, dependent on our own integrity. Do we want change? What would this really mean for us? Are we willing to become what we seek? With passion set to be intense under this lunation, it is wise to ensure any pursuits go beyond personal or reactive responses, as once the metaphorical horse is bolted, it will be too late to call them back. Words said cannot be unheard, deeds completed no longer undone, making this an incredible time to illuminate and at the same moment destroy if we are unable to navigate any restlessness. Whilst the desire for change is palpable, on the global stage, any provocative potential will simply elect another version of the same thing. This also goes for ourselves. The key here is to move forward towards what feels meaningful by being honest with its relevance. Some aspects may not be comfortable. It could be easier to focus our attention, energy, and guidance towards that which we know, but unique results require innovative approaches. We are no different from this. That doesn't mean to remove any inspirations, but ensure they are muses of movement and not the fable of familiarity. There may be frustrating stagnation, but ideas and desires, once revered in their union rather than separation, do have the capacity to arrive quickly, depending on how efficiently we act before the mind questions our ability to. This speed, however, doesn't come from hasty impulsion or self-formulating drama, but the intuitive sight of the visionary that can see beyond the distractions or reactive yearning for stimulation to the courageous shift towards truth, and in this congruent change, none more so than our own. Ensuring maturity becomes our stability, Father Time Saturn will support a more strategic and at times nostalgic approach to any emotional excess, provided we can realize discipline is here to ignite rather than restrict. The other scenario, of course, with Mars triggering irritation, especially if we do not make the space for what we love, be that people, endeavors, ourselves even, could be consequences that appear rather larger than the events themselves. If we can monitor our moods individually and collectively, instead of trying to control or regulate them, we may just see these barometers of belief for the language they've always been, alongside their more primal cause, which if pushed before ready to hold space for, will undoubtedly reject any conflict in the most dramatic fashion. In order to work with this feedback, we must recognize when attraction becomes addiction, the fine line or knife's edge between where we are and what is possible, whilst bringing to it all an element of much needed humour. Because only when our perspective of everything, and I mean things we have yet to allow ourselves to remember, shifts, will our responses to them, realigning us to what or even who has been calling from within all along. Over the next few unpredictable months, the essence is to look at any deeper unrest beneath intense interaction, particularly around dreams, creativity, and our openness to receive them, respecting that this accelerated energy can go both ways, dissolving obstacles through integrated solutions, or scattering our focus, dedication, and for some, souls in many directions. As always, in returning to the body, mastering, not manipulating, but amalgamating any excitement, urgency, fear, or doubt. The name doesn't really matter as much as the honouring of our senses for what they are, can become the rightful flow or timing to achieve any outcome swiftly. And that means any. So again, a careful stance is pivotal, especially with the involvement of the royal star of Persia, Antares, at the centre of this placement. Linked to warriors, rebels, and those willing to walk through the very flames of transformation to become it, the courage, passion, and on the flip side, obsession or escalation available has potential to move us through whichever crisis we find ourselves in, or inadvertently creating in order to do so. Offering attention to hidden areas within our own humanity, any intrinsic understanding craved for, disguised as searching externally for answers, is actually encouraging balance between our outward goals and internal needs, to ensure they are compatible, realistic, and of course, our own. Making now an important moment to look at areas of expansion, especially around the divide within intellect and spirituality. Fact without faith brings restriction, whilst hope minus action can entice a shirking of agency. Both being codependent on one another, this full moon provides the opportunity to examine the authenticity of our longings, and as a result reassess what or even who is really driving us forward. A time to reflect honestly where we are headed, to call it for what it is by being with the present moment, no matter how uncomfortable. Honouring this to the point of planning, remaining open to both our deepest desires and, in doing so, current circumstances to change. The reality is prayers spoken are always heard, be that by our higher selves or unseen until able beings. Make of that what you will. We each decide the lyrics of language received. So if things look the same, regardless of the people, energy, stories inside them, the greater question will be to ask what has really changed within our own perspective. And moreover, take responsibility for the impact this is having on any belief systems, especially the ones we have about ourselves. Happening on the 31st of May at 9:45 a.m. in the UK, bringing forth the vibrational frequencies of the Fool, Magician, High Priestess, Emperor, Hierophant, Lovers, Hermit, Hanged Man, World, and Empress overall. This full moon reminds us the journey forward has always depended upon what we choose to create from the past. As we continually define the vision we hold of the planet, we learn, endure, and evolve alongside, wherever that may be. May we realize with humility that to belong was never defined by distance, but our willingness to recognize ourselves in all that we see. In deepest Moonai, I ask again, is it that Sirius, or just another gold in age? You know where I am. Take care, Kirsty.